Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. This is Demystifying the music industry's new future about blockchain, NFTs, cryptocurrency, and all the other stuff that goes on in Web3. I got my dude, the man, the legend, Scotty Page from Pink Floyd, Toto Supertramp. What up, Scotty?
Whoa, I love that guy. No, just kidding. Oh, man.
Chorus of
Thank you for the
one.
kind intro. Yes. Things are going great, man. I'm busy and we're gearing up for NFT LA, which we're going to all be part of as we get going. So, crazy busy production right now, getting ready for these events and working on our NFT drops. And it ain't easy having this much fun.
So NFT LA is going to be in LA. You guys got to check it out down at the Wise Dome.
NFT LA is actually at LA Live, and then we're doing the events on the 29th and 30th at Wisdom, which is going to be crazy cool.
Well, the only party worth being at is ours. So that's
Absolutely.
where you got to be, at the Wisdom right there. We got Scotty and the guys, the all-star gang rolling through. All right. So before we go on, I just want to say we got a couple great guests on the show. We got Bassy, Bob Brockmann, who has NFTYTunes doing amazing stuff, mashing music to iconic NFTs. He's got like 376,000 Grammys and has worked with everybody you've ever met in your entire freaking life. And some of my favorite records, from D'Angelo to Notorious B.I.G., freaking Jay-Z, whatever. He's done a bunch of really cool stuff. So I'm glad to have him on the show. Before we get into it, I've got to go into some Hollywood news. Okay, tonight, South by Southwest 2022 Festival in Texas is hosting major on-site NFT workshop for participants. Dolly Parton to attend the South by Southwest amid Dollyverse NFT platform launch and a bunch of other really cool shizzle. We've got some movie properties that have been happening. Indie movie targets NFT for fundraising. Indie film Khalidita to raise funds using NFTs. Check that out. Also, a lot of philanthropy started to take off. Had an interesting conversation with a guy who's doing micro funding for musicians as a charitable, what I guess you'd call it, an NGO. What do you call Scotty? What do you call a company that's a Section 8, whatever the
501c3?
Yeah, 501c3. There it is.
That's a charity. Basically a charity, or fundraising for different types of things, right, to help folks out. That's what I love about NFTs, man. It's a give forward model. It's beautiful.
They're doing a lot in that space. Our friend Greg Bean and his crew just did a fundraiser to help Ukraine through what they're going through. Big shouts and big love to our friends in Ukraine. Party Space is a partner on the metaverse with us, and they're all in the Ukraine. My tech team over there, Serhi, Alona, everybody over there are bunkering in and fighting a good fight. So big love to them. Our family hoods are all over this world, and we got to support. Okay. Without further ado, Mr. Bassy Bob Brockmann, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man. It's great to meet you, Dylan. I'm already besties with Scott. We're attached at the hip at this point.
Yes, we are. We're getting ready for South by Southwest. We're getting ready to blow South by Southwest away, and they don't even know it yet, right, Bobby boy?
Yeah, I think that we're bringing like the hip hop and the funk and the soul and the live experience into the hip hop world, which to my estimation has been mostly like an etheric kind of like online phenomenon. And we're going to, with NFTYTunes, give people an opportunity to like bump and grind to live NFT animations with musicians jamming along at South by. It's going to be amazing.
So check this out. If you don't know Bob, you know his work, right? He's got 25 associated Grammys, I think 3 for mixing as well. He's worked with everybody from Kanye West to Puff Daddy, L.A. Reid, Babyface, done work on some of my favorite albums, the Fugees, D'Angelo's record, the first record, which was one of my favorite of all time. Notorious B.I.G., Christina Aguilera. You are a well-decorated vet in the industry, so we're glad to have you here. Tell us about NFTYTunes, man. How's it work?
So NFTYTunes was kind of a company that I started by accident. I had an offer to come on board at a partner level with a Chinese NFT company, and they were really looking for something around the music space. Long story short, after talking to several attorneys, I realized that I didn't have any protection joining a Chinese company. And so Scotty and my dear friend, Devin Ehrig, who is deep into the NFT space in Los Angeles, suggested that I start my own company. So based on my observations of what I was seeing on the major marketplaces like OpenSea, Foundation, it was about 99% silent animation or silent pictures. And I, coming from the sync world and spending 20 years in Hollywood, working on motion pictures and working on sync for television and film, I realized from my own perspective how important music is, not just in the entertainment space, but also just in people's lives, right? That music transforms every aspect of our life. And so I started NFTYTunes really as a co-creation platform for, either a collector or an animator or a musician to come on and take a piece of animation, mix it with a piece of music, and it loops indefinitely, like a hip hop record, right? Like a lot of the biggest Biggie records are a 2-bar loop. But the thing is, it's such a good 2-bar loop. It's such a groovy 2-bar loop that people will dance and listen for hours without ever getting bored. And so I think in terms of like the attention factor, in terms of the engagement factor, I think that when people go into the NFTYTunes marketplace, if they find something that they really like, they'll listen to it. They won't just watch it. And so I think instead of this kind of like loss of attention economy where people are just like flipping all the time on Instagram, flipping on, these marketplaces, they'll actually watch the animation because they're grooving to the music. And I mean, obviously this is all like supposition. I don't know that this is a fact, but I know that from my experience in advertising and TV and film and the record business, that if somebody likes a record, they'll listen to it 10,000 times. I mean, I'm sure you could attest to that.
Yeah.
So what we plan on doing at this event at Think NFT at the Speakeasy in Austin is we're going to do 3 VJ sets a night, where we're basically taking like these kind of iconic high value NFTs and we're merging them with loops from some of the most legendary hip hop producers. Easy Mo B, I've known for almost 35 years. We did Usher together. We did Biggie together. We did Craig Mack together. We did Jodeci together. We did Rakim together for the original Black Panther film. So Easy Mo B, Pete Rock from Pete Rock and CL Smooth, one of the most important DJs in the history of hip hop, is also going to be coming on with some very grimy loops. And I think that what that is going to do is it's going to make NFTs cool. Because I don't think that NFTs are cool yet. I think that there's a lot of nerd factor going, a lot of like incel gamer kids buying the shit. And the thing is that if you want to bring women and you want to bring normal people in, you got to have parties. You got to have real life events. And, this is the kind of thing that Scott and I both specialize, jamming with DJs at parties, at major events. And so we plan on sort of replicating that, like, live DJ experience with live musicians. I've also got a couple really up and coming rappers from New Orleans that I'm bringing. This guy Sozy, we're going to drop his single and break it into 12 parts. The first person who gets all 12 parts gets the song. So it's like some of these kind of like choose your own adventure crossword puzzle things where you have to get all the parts in order to like trigger the final NFT. So we're hoping that whole thing is going to happen this next upcoming weekend at South by.
Yeah, and what's cool is we're going to be minting those then real time. So after, when they're actually made, we're creating a new derivative piece of work. It gets minted right there. It gets mixed, gets minted, and goes out the door. So we're planning on cranking out a ton of NFTs at this event with great players, people coming, sitting in. You never know what you're going to get, right? That's what's beautiful about it when you're mashing these things together. And again, we've been bringing in some of the most iconic NFTs that are out there that don't have music and creating new derivative works. So we're going to be doing apes and freaking, we've got apes,
Crypto
we've got
Punk,
doodles, we have
Euphoria, Doodle. Yeah. Like a lot of the, I mean, this is really all, this is all Bean, like basically bringing this like, high watt firepower into this kind of like mashup event. But I mean, what I'm going to be doing on stage is in addition to like mixing the show and like throwing effects onto Scott's saxophone and all of that kind of stuff, is I'm running a multi-channel Pro Tools rig. And so basically I'm capturing all the audio that happens. And I think that like what Greg was excited about is the idea of like capturing a special moment, right? Scott's saxophone solo on Money is like, how many times have people heard that? It's not just a famous song, it's a famous saxophone solo. So I think what we're creating is sort of like a demonstrable sort of microscopic event at South by that could be blasted out to any stadium in the world, where we could actually be capturing audio and video content and basically spinning it out to every single person in the audience at once.
So let me ask you a question. How does the economics behind that collaboration work?
So basically, NFTYTunes takes a 7% stake in any transaction. So 93% of the revenue from the first sale and also subsequent sales goes to the artist, and that gets split right down the middle between the animator and the musician.
And is that after
right,
the platform? Like, what are the platform fees for that? I mean, because there's the platform fees, and then there's the company's stake, and then the musicians split it, right?
Well, we're sort of vacillating between Polygon, Matic, and Ajax right now. I mean, both of those coins are appreciably faster than Ethereum and also a lot less expensive on the gas. So, I mean, I've been noticing that like a lot of these big like concert promotion things like After Party that's happening soon, where they're buying like lifetime VIP rights and that kind of thing. They're just absorbing the gas. So, right. I mean, we're kind of building the tokenomics for the company as we go. I don't think that we'll have a coin for probably 6 months. We have to do a lot of work to actually build out the tokenomics of the company, but we're going to go ahead and operate as a marketplace. And I mean, even if we take a little bit of a loss on sort of like the early days of the company, I think that the goodwill that we're going to build in the music community is going to be powerful. I mean, Spotify takes 99.3% of the profit on every transaction.
I think it's safe to say that
we give away 93% of the value to the artist, which is the way that I believe it should be. We should just be operating as a service company, not as an oligarch.
Well, and by the way, I totally agree with you. And the fact that you brought up Spotify, I like many people are very frustrated at the iron castle that is Spotify. First of all, they take all the revenue. Secondly, it's not even run by musicians. Thirdly, and I know people that are senior level VPs over there, and their business is the label industry. Let's be honest. So for independent artists to break through on Spotify, good freaking luck, because guess who owns all the biggest playlists? Warner, Interscope, Capitol, Universal, right? So it's all payola, just in a different way.
It's all payola, and it's basically a mafia shakedown. I mean, Daniel Ek couldn't get into the United States without the major labels getting a significant ownership stake in Spotify. And so Spotify is just basically like a UX company that's a handmaiden to the labels. And exactly. We're really pushing back against the idea of centralized hegemony by these multinational technology and entertainment companies. I mean, we really are excited about the promise of Web3, which is really the idea of getting all the rent seekers and the middlemen that are in the middle of the transaction out of the transaction. And that's part of the reason that, these guys who have every reason not to trust me and every reason not to trust anybody in the music business are coming on board, because I think that they realize that they're getting very, very close to a direct relationship with their fans.
Yeah. So this is the moment in time. This is the moment in time where the people are taking back the power. And that's the beauty of it. That's what got me so excited about the NFT space, is because it is that direct to consumer business model, wallet to wallet, getting rid of the third party. And now the artist gets to control his destiny. And it's not so much, what's so beautiful about it, the model that before we have now, it's how many people can you get on it? Now it's really about the quality, the hive, the community. It doesn't take that many people to build a real solid business. I don't need a million people anymore. Look, if I've got 5,000 people that really love what I'm doing, I can make a ton of money. I can also empower them to make money. I can empower my audience now to be part of my career and be part of it, which we never had those tools before. It's crazy. And NFTs make that all happen.
Well, and by the way, and like Greg, I have 20 billion streams, right? And if you think about that, actually 40 billion, 39 billion of those are going to YouTube, Spotify, so if you think about that, who's making all my money? Those guys, right?
Those guys.
And there's no accountability. There's no transparency. There's not even a human you can get on the phone. And they don't give a hoot about you, right? And neither BMI, ASCAP, all these guys, though they try, absolutely inefficient, non-transparent. You know, if they were trustless, let me tell you, we'd all be making a lot more money.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this. And man, you know, Bob, you're speaking my language, brother. Forget middlemen.
Yeah.
Got to remove them.
Well, I think the other thing is that, you know, part of the promise of Web3, I think, is the incentivizing of all participants. And so, you know, the fact that you know, these guys like, you know, Daru Jones, who's the drummer for Jack White's band, he's coming on board. Easy Mo B, Pete Rock, guys who I have enormous love and respect for. You know, these guys are going to get the early version of the tokens. And, you know, imagine if like a record company paid Jay-Z or Biggie or any major artist for bringing the cool factor to their company. Because the thing is that when I think about it, when, you know, like Shaka Khan and Prince were at Warner Brothers, everybody wanted to be at Warner Brothers because that was a cool company. But did those artists get compensated for making it a cool company? No, they didn't give them a fucking dime.
Prince had a yard sale, man. I mean...
It's crazy.
Prince had a fucking yard sale. He's like, you know what? I'm getting out of my deal. I'm going to sell all my stuff. I'm going to put out how many records did he have to fulfill? And he just put out like the stupidest things ever and then changed his name. He did everything under the sun to get away from the record labels that were abusive. And this is one of the biggest artists of all time.
Yeah.
So this is rampant in the industry. What I love about what you're doing is you're decentralizing the power structure. You're taking that power away from them by allowing self-powered artist income. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, they're
don't forget, you're also
transacting directly with the collectors. And so you know, it's not this ivory tower where you can never talk to the artist and they're living up in some like castle, you know, where they're trying to find some rags to string together to get the fuck out of the castle. It's much more to me, a humble, you know, gratitude-based kind of relationship between artists and fans. And I mean, there's lots of platforms that have enabled that, like, you know, Patreon's, you know, Stage It, like all of these kinds of new developments where artists are having a peer-to-peer direct relationship with their fans. NFTYTunes is just a kind of a you know, sort of piggybacking on a lot of great ideas that have happened in the last 10 or 15 years with third-party companies that also have a very, very equitable kind of stake.
Yeah. You know, and what's so great about it too is, remember, the fan that may buy that moment, they don't really know at that moment what that will be worth, because if that moment happens to be incredible, that piece of art or that thing that they just bought could go up dramatically in value. So this is where I love the concept of where the fan and the artist, they both can make it together. Right. And so it incentivizes the fans to drive the artist's career and the fan and the artist to figure out ways to empower the fan base to make to make this all happen. So it's a crazy ecosystem, having a secondary market where you can go sell these things. And that's what I mean. When I think of NFTYTunes, I mean, one of the things to me is, you can imagine, it's like the flex. Hey, I happen to have that night that Jack White came into the club and sat in when we did this. And it's this one moment and he played this thing. And I own that now, right? That's like flex. Now I got my screens on my walls or whatever. I can put this stuff up and have my parties and I can play my piece and I get to own that little piece of history. It's crazy what this does. And don't forget, the secondary market also keeps paying the artist afterwards, right? So this is so revolutionary. I try to explain to people about this NFT thing. For me, it's the biggest thing that's happened. I mean, it's truly freedom. It's like taking the people away from an old system. We're tearing down an old system, creating a whole new system that's a total direct to consumer. Everybody's going to be interacting with NFTs. Everything's going to be NFT'd. And so this thing you're doing, I see it as being the new Spotify, man. I mean, I could see where you're going to have NFT kind of label stuff coming out.
I would gladly assume the Spotify killer, you know, if someone wants to give me a cape that says, you know, NFTYTunes is the Spotify killer, I'm like more than happy to do it. And I mean,
that's your marketing angle right there, man.
And that's not
t-shirts.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not because I don't think that they have created an innovative way of presenting music, but you know, I have to say a lot of my friends have kind of gotten to the point where they've lost interest in music because they're so overwhelmed.
Right.
And I think that that's very, very different from where the music business started, where you were really excited about going to Tower Records or Sam Goody and, getting the new Stones record or the new Springsteen record. It was a big deal in people's lives. And I think that the technologists have done a great disservice by devaluing music and treating it like gravel. It's not. Every song is special. Every performance is special. Yeah. There are songs that I know personally kept friends from killing themselves because the song was so meaningful to them. And if there's anything that I want to do, it's to actually bring back the perception of value in music, which is, I think, what, we're all working on together, at this point with this company.
Well, and I would put this out there to anybody who happens to hear this, who's a musician or in the music business, reach out to us, because we are building a tribe. We are uniting a front, a decentralized front, to empower each other to make this work, because it does take a tribe. And we don't need to just align with the brick fortress of the old world,
that's really one of the things that's so exciting for me, and why I've dove into NFT so much, is because of the community aspect of it. I've never seen communities like this ever. And it's crazy because even some of the big brands that are trying to get out there, they don't do very well in the space, because the community really wants to follow the people that are in the community, where they're, they'll follow a kid that's a photographer that did something cool. The community will get behind them to help them make it happen. Right. So it's really the community right now. And really, whoever owns the audience wins. We always talk about that. And now's the time. I've got my 24-hour Twitter, my 24-hour cocktail party. I can start hanging with my peeps. I can start bringing people in. All I have to do as an artist now is figure out how to create value and how to empower my audience. And that's why learning and understanding the concepts of tokenomics, because the thing about NFTs, they're programmable. They allow me to basically create experiences. I always think of NFTs as experiences. And with that experience, that's where the value comes in. And that's where you can bring the fans in. And that's how everybody can generate revenue together. It's crazy cool.
All right, so let's share our socials real quick so they can find us. You can find Scott at I Am Scott Page on pretty much everything. Yep. And then we got Bob at
it's at
Bassy Bob.
Well, yeah, it's at Bassy Bob for Instagram. And then for everything else for NFTYTunes, it's NFTYTunes. It's at NFTYTunes, Discord, Twitter, Instagram.
And you can hit me at Dylan Berry Official. That's DYLANBERRY Official on pretty much everything. And my company's SmashHaus. We're also a Web3 decentralized company empowering musicians to bypass middlemen and do other things for themselves. We have a network of media companies all over the world that post opportunities, and creators submit directly to them. And the deals are direct with creators. We're just a software as a service model. So you're welcome. Anyway, Bob, what else you got going on in the world, man? You producing anything cool?
Yeah, I'm working on a new solo record with Ivan Neville from the Neville Brothers and Demystifying. I'm working on a new record from this offshoot band from Chawa, this other band that I did last year that's up for a Grammy called The Rumble. These guys are like incredible. Just did a single with this guy Sozi, who I really feel is like he's following right in the footsteps of Biggie. We're going to drop that single on March 11th, along with the big NFTYTunes drop. And I'm like fucking coding and working on Photoshop 17 hours a day, trying to not crash and burn before March 11th, and just get my whole team to Austin in one piece.
Yeah, man, I got to tell you, I spent so many years, I've always owned my own businesses, right? So I spent so many years paying people to do stuff and got pissed off. And so I learned it myself. So everything, Photoshop, websites, I am not coding smart contracts, though. They're very difficult. So I've given up at this point and bringing in, backup artillery. But Scotty, let's talk about NFTLA and what we got coming up.
Yeah, so Bob's going to be there. We'll have NFTYTunes there. We're going to be mashing and crazy art. And so, so NFT LA on the 29th, it's going to be a Think NFT event. It's the second night after NFT LA. It's the official party for that evening. We're doing it in the Wisdom. It's 5 immersive domes. We're doing our Think Floyd show we're going to do, because I'm doing a drop of my stuff, which is my Floyd experience. Also with Arthur J. Williams, we're doing, he's a crazy cool artist out there, pretty famous guy. He's basically doing taking photographs. He's got 3 very never before seen Rolling Stones photograph. He's taken 3 of my photographs that I've done from Pink Floyd days. And also we've got Jamie Whalen from Scott Whalen's wife, who has taken pictures of Scott. We've got that. So we're going to be showing a collection of 9 original paintings, NFTs. We're going to be mashing freaking music to those in real time and doing drops with that with NFTYTunes. We've got crazy stuff, a company called Zed who's doing horse races. We're going to do in the immersive dome, a big giant NFT horse race that's going on. It's going to be crazy. We got all kinds of artists and great immersive events that are going to be happening there. So it's going to be crazy, crazy cool. So we're excited about that event. That's the 29th. And then on the 30th, we can't announce, but we have a very exciting show we're going to be doing with a very famous person, which we can't talk about yet because we haven't announced that. But that night's going to be cool, the 30th. So we're pretty excited about NFT LA. It's the first big conference coming to LA in the NFT space. So it should be pretty rip roaring.
And where can people find tickets for that and pre-buy them?
You go to NFT LA. To go NFT LA, just do that, and you can find out how to get tickets to that. It's got Mark Cuban is the keynote speaker, Steve Aoki speaking also. I mean, it's a great roster of speakers. And so I really recommend, if you're a musician or an artist, you do yourself a favor, go put the 30 to 40 hours in, take a deep dive, get Google, YouTube, what's an NFT? How do I make an NFT? Learn this, because this is really the new business model. That's what it's bringing to everybody. And especially when you look at NFTs, they're basically going to empower the whole metaverse space, which is coming on, because that's really the currency that's going to drive and run the entire space. So the opportunities for artists are incredible. Go to these meetups, come to NFT LA. Come see us at South by. We're going to be, again, that's going to be at a place called the Speakeasy. We're the top floor, which is the Think NFT Lounge with NFTYTunes. We're going to be rocking and having a great time. So that's the 11th through the 14th there.
And I'll be down there at NFT LA, so shout me out. You can get a hold of Scotty at I Am Scott page on all of those. I am Dylan Berry at Dylan Berry Official. And then we got at NFTYTunes. Which is spelled NFTYTunes, right, Bob?
That's it.
Okay. And then Bassy Bob on IG as well. And all right, so check it out. This is Demystifying the Music Industry's New Future. This is episode 8. And I got Scott Page from Pink Floyd on here, my co-host, and Mr. Bob Brockmann, who is the 25 Grammy Award nominated winning and everything else, and who's worked with everybody under the sun and has 800,000 credits to his name. So, Bob, thank you for being on the show, dude.
Yeah. Oh, it's my great pleasure. I didn't even know that I was going to be on this show when I was talking to Scott last night. So it's such a delightful surprise to be able to participate. Thanks so much for having me on, man. Really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the event.
Yeah, I want to catch up with you after this podcast. I'm gonna give you a call.
For sure. And so are you a musician?
Me? Yeah. So I'm a composer and a producer, and I've done that for years. But then I have a company called SmashHaus, which is Smash HAUS.
No, I checked it out right before the podcast. It looks amazing. Kind of peer-to-peer things you're doing with musicians and brands, right?
Yeah. And I'm a drummer by trade.
And you're a drummer, right? Well, so I was going to say, like, please come in and sit in with us, and
hell yeah,
and come in. We're going to have a drum set on stage, and let's, the best way that I know to get to know people is to jam with them. It's like everybody I've ever jammed with, I'm best friends with now. So I think that's a great way to start.
Yep. I'm down, man. I'm down. And it'll be all family. I haven't played with Norwood in a minute. Is Wood going to be down there?
No, I'm sure Wood will be down in NFT LA. Yes, absolutely. He'll be there.
Yeah. I used to play with Trulio back in the day a lot. We had a lot of
right on, man.
So, but yeah, man, I'm excited, man. Let's catch up after this thing. I appreciate you for being on the show, Bob, man. Thank you for rolling through. Scotty, always a pleasure, my friend. Let's catch up. I know we got 1,000,001 things going on right now, so we got to get back to work. We're done talking to you people.
Enough of this.
Get on with your lives. All right, y'all. Thanks for being on episode 8, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Bob, for jumping on.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.